Welcome to the Dr. Stacy Show, where we're talking about all things faith, love, and wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Stacy, and I am really excited to be kicking off our show today. Each season, we tackle a theme, and this season, it's about being made well. I'm talking to authors, therapists, doctors, everyday folks who are in the business of helping people to be made well. Today, I'm super excited to have with us Chinna Parker. Chinna has been working in this area of wellness around women, and she is passionate about specifically health and wellness. She has created the Sisterly Collective. She is the co-creator. This is a group that helps women in all areas of wellness, emotional, financial, social supports, providing educational workshops, activities, and things to help women to engage with each other around this area of wellness. Chinna, I am so grateful to have you here today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I'm grateful for this opportunity, to be here with you. And I admire the work that you're doing.
Thank you. And so, Chinna, let's just dive in, because even the pre-show talk, I always tell people there's that pre-show talk. We were already getting into the work, into the weeds, the things that you're doing. Talk to us a little bit about your heart and your passion for helping women overcome obstacles.
Listen, that's what I'm all about. I've faced several challenges through life. I don't look like what I've been through.
Mm.
I've overcome so much by the grace of God. And it's just in my heart to assist and work with women predominantly. I work with children, I've worked with men, but women predominantly because I can, relate to their journey. I can relate to womanhood and helping them grow through various obstacles, challenges, achieving dreams and goals. I am co-founder of the Sisterly Collective along with my sister, Lydia Joy. And as women, it's important that we come together. In my travels, as I began to travel, I would see women come together all throughout the day, support one another. Someone had a baby, the women are cooking and cleaning her home and just having that thriving support system. And you see here in our society today, whereas years ago, when I was younger and coming up, we had so many shows like The Cosby Show, like A Different World. And so you have all of these young people going to college and planning families and thriving. And now you look at society today and you see shows where, there's women just coming at each other, being very combative, fighting over the same things for 20 years. It's like this show's been on for a decade and these women have been fighting over the same things. And these are some of the examples that our youth are looking up to. And so for me, it's important that we display who we really are. I have had women in my life all my life, my mom, my aunties, women at the church, women at school, women at work. And it's never been, I've never experienced that. Not to say that you don't experience, everybody isn't a bed of roses, of course.
Right.
But what we see and what we're displaying, it's like, no, we don't run across tables and attack each other. We can communicate, we can love one another. But the thing for me is, if we come together, we can grow together, we can build together, we can reap off of each other's knowledge, wisdom, and expertise. And that's what I'm all about.
I love that. And Chinna, I'm just going to jump in right what you just said, because I think it is so powerful when we talk about the images of women relationships, even in TV, right? We're not talking about any particular series, right?
No,
We're not going to call anybody out by name.
yeah.
But it is true that even the idea of how we portray female relationships and the fact that, it doesn't look like the village we once had, even when you see it on TV. So I love how you just pointed that out. Talk to us a little bit about maybe some of those obstacles that you feel like women go through alone. Because I love how you said we need our village, we need each other. When you think about women today, what are some of those things that we're going through alone?
I think a lot of times we isolate. Well, for me, I'll just make it more personal.
Yeah.
When I'm going through things, I tend to isolate. And isolation can be a double-edged sword because you can isolate to elevate, but you can also isolate to deprivate and be depressed and down and feeling loathsome or like no one understands what you're going through. And you feel stuck and you're in this hard place and you can't get out. And it's because you can't reach out of that isolation and ask for the help that you need to thrive. And there have been several seasons in my life where I've isolated from going through a breakup or experiencing divorce or single motherhood. Or there was a time, even when my daughter was in the hospital, just very traumatic birthing experience. And, they told me that she had passed.
Mm.
And she ended up surviving.
Mhm.
The first two times it was traumatic for me because I'm on the floor, I'm crying, I'm mourning the life of my child. I'm believing God, I'm having faith. I'm not saying anything that I don't want to see because I know my words are powerful. And yes, I had my parents and the support of my siblings, but there was a place in me that just became numb, like, God, why? And some of the things that they had diagnosed my daughter with, she's a phenomenal testimony, a
Mm.
walking, living miracle.
That
But at the end of the day, when I was going through those things and experiencing those things, I was beating myself up inside. Like, what did I do? What could I have done? I'm trying to eat healthy. I'm not trying to surround myself with chemicals and this, that, and the other. Like, why me? A
Mhm.
little, that sense of, why
Right.
is it me?
Right.
But then I had to grow over time to a point where, why not you? And I was able to be there and hold hands and embrace so many women in the NICU, so many women that
Mhm.
had lost their child, so many women whose children were going through things that my daughter hadn't experienced. And it's like sometimes you're placed where you need to be. And it's not all about you. Your gifts aren't about you. They're to be given away. And so there was a season in my life where I was angry with God and I sat on my gifts. Like, I have embraced women, and sometimes the women you embrace may hurt you.
Mm.
Sometimes the relationship you embrace may hurt you.
Wow.
But that doesn't mean that you're not supposed to embrace women. That doesn't mean that you're not supposed to embrace relationship. That's usually an attack to get you to sit on your gift, so you're quiet and you're calm and you're like, I'm not doing this anymore because I've been there, and I've said those things. But it's like, no, all women aren't the same. And
Mhm.
some women may take advantage. Some people may take advantage of your kindness, but that's when you have to do your due diligence, especially in dating. I tell women dating is collecting data. It's not to open up your heart and dive in because a man took you to dinner twice and you have great conversation, same background, we're not unequally yoked per se. So you're just like, oh, I'm in love. So no, it's to collect that data.
Mm.
And when you're secure and solid in who you are, you're not tossed to and fro based on what somebody else does. You can stand strong in who you are and what God has called you to do.
You have just dropped so many gems. I got to go back. Listen, y'all. Keep up. If you need to stop and record and re-listen, because these are some gems. When you just talked about the test is sometimes your testimony, right? And that's
Hmm.
about to say sometimes, right? Like what you're going through, and you're so spot on when we say it's not always about you in that moment, right? And
Hmm.
the fact that we can also sometimes, because we all know church hurt, right? Or even female hurt, relationship
Hmm.
hurt. When you just shared that do isolate, we do tend to say, okay, you've hurt me, let me pull away. Or we, as women, will say, well, all women are like that, right? Or
Hmm.
all successful women or people. I love that you just shared that. No, we don't have to have that mindset. And that's where we're hurting each other, even as women, when we have that type of mindset. I always tease the first person that bullied me on a school bus was a Black female, right? And I'm just like, wait a minute, we supposed to be getting along on the bus. Why are you teasing me? And that still sticks with me to this day, right? That's the first experience when, again, we want to say, hey, how do we come together? How do we change that narrative, especially for women? China, talk to me a little bit because I know even in this space of wellness, and you've been throwing out that word wellness, which I love. We talk about wellness, and yet it's still this almost a elusive dream for women, right? Like when we take care of everybody else and we're the last ones to take care of our own wellness. Talk to me a little bit about the Sister Collective. Talk a little bit about how you guys support women in their wellness through this programming. Share some thoughts around that and how we can continue this dialogue with women around wellness.
Well, listen, I love wellness and I love working with women. You've heard the saying that behind every good man, behind these successful men, there is a strong woman, right?
Mm.
We've all heard that. And so for me, it's like, well, if we come together as well and
Mm.
support one another, how much better would we be?
Yeah.
There are things that I wish I would have known in my 20s, in my late teens, that I didn't have a big sister. I am the big sister that I wish I would have known. And so the Sisterly Collective is a sisterhood of women. We look at each other as sisters. Look, it's not about the gossip. It's not about the oh, she thinks she cute because guess what? She probably is really cute. Just thinking
And that's
it is. And she probably thinks she is because as a woman thinketh in her heart.
so is she. That's right. So is she.
So it's not about any of that. It's about us coming together, bringing our gifts, bringing our ideas.
Mhm.
If you have an idea, if you have a business, how can we help support you in that? You know, what can you do to grow that business? If you're struggling with motherhood, if
Mhm.
you are in need of resources to get unstuck, if you're on welfare and you're looking to get your credit together, you're looking to buy a house, it's not about the big I's and little U's because we see each other as, hey, if circumstances were different, I could very well be in your shoes. So
Mm.
it's about coming together and loving and supporting one another. For those who have lost loved ones, we're partnered with a young lady, Monique, that has a program for missing our moms. And it's so vast to just discuss in one nutshell, but it's about the being whole as a woman. And when we talk about wellness, it's taking that time out for you. You know, a lot of people say, I don't have time to pray. I don't have time to be still. I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to pour into me. But you have to make time for your health and make time for your wellness if you're going to walk in a lifestyle of preventative illness, because that's what's going to come if you don't take care of you. So it's deeming yourself a priority too. As women, I'm a natural nurturer. I want to pour out into everybody else. It's like I can see your stuff not messed up and I just want to help you fix it, help you clean it. Your hair messed up, I just want to help you put it into place, help you pick out your outfit. Like it's natural in me,
Mm.
to want to nurture our children or nurture a man. That comes easy. But what I had to do was rewire my mindset and get into the point where I am worthy. I am deserving. And I don't want to pour from a place of an empty cup because when you pour from an empty cup, you hold resentment. I did this for him. I did that for them. I did this. I did that for her. And they didn't even acknowledge me. And they didn't, because you built up this resentment because you're not filling your own cup and you're pouring from your cup, expecting other people to pour back into yours. And so one of the beliefs that we have is pour into your cup. If you have to wake up an hour early to stretch or get your body moving, especially for those of us who live in cold climates, you can get up, you can stretch, put a mat down by your bed and begin to stretch your body and do some calisthenic movements just to maintain your health and wellness. If you say, I need to, I'm not getting enough calories because I found, hey, when your baby goes to college, you don't have anyone to feed.
What's that part?
You don't have anyone to feed, so you're not. I didn't go to the grocery store this week. I'm just picking. I'm just snacking.
Uh-huh.
But no, I have to practice what I preach and say, let me get to this grocery store. Let me make me some fresh meals, even if I'm not doing it every night or every day. Let me prep some things, but let me take care of me because you're worthy and you're worth it. Don't lose yourself getting caught up in everything and everyone else and neglect the God in you.
You know what, China? I have to laugh with you there, sister, because listen, both of my kids are in college too. And that is the weekly struggle. Am I going to the grocery store? Because think about it. That's right. When we had the babies at home, we did that, right? It wasn't a thought. You took care of them. You go get what you need. They have to have food to eat. But for yourself, again, it's a great example of as women, we still put ourselves on the back burner. It's like, no, we should still say, I need to have that grocery list. I need to go get my healthy food, stop all this eating out and fast food because, again, I'm not taking care of me. But one of the things you just tapped into, and I want you to just really kind of go there for us and for our listeners, women and this idea of self talk and how we talk to ourselves. Talk a little bit about what this journey has taught you. What do you share with women, even about how we talk to ourselves and what we say to ourselves?
Listen, well, how you talk to yourself is going to determine how you function, what you accomplish, what you achieve. A lot of times we think self talk is if we say something like, oh, there's no good men, and there's plenty of good men, but a lot of women will say that and wonder why they're not meeting a good man. Or you live in the past of what Pookie and Ray Ray did, and you wonder why you're not experiencing the love that you so desire and deserve or worthy of. But when I think about self talk, it's that when you look in the mirror and you see something you don't like, and you're like, I need to fix this, or is something wrong with me, or you feel unworthy just based on what you see. A lot of the self talk is in the mirror, a lot of the self talk is the past, right?
Yeah.
It's the past, and the past can hold you hostage. It can keep you stuck. It can keep you in an imaginary jail cell, going back, always going back, and you wonder why you can't go forward. I think that, and something that really helped me is something that's called mirror work.
Mhm.
Is looking in the mirror, because there have been seasons in my life where I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. And when I say that, people laugh because my body is, I'm a small framed woman,
Mhm.
or they say you don't look your age.
Mhm.
I'm close to 50 and people are like, no way possible. But it's like you gotta take care of yourself. And I credit a lot of that to 13 years of being plant-based and doing the hard work. Backslidden for a few years since, about the past 4 years. But to be honest, those years helped cultivate in me a look of the way my body appears till this day. It's something called muscle memory. But when you look in the mirror, and I can remember when I was young and going through puberty, and you look at yourself and you see your body changing, and you can become critical. That's when my inner critic began for me. I was a very young woman, about 13 years old, and I looked in the mirror and I saw my body changing. And I no longer looked like the little girl I was, but I no longer looked like the women that I seen. The women in my family have been blessed, being top heavy, and I didn't get that blessing, but it's a blessing I always desired, because they're just, oh, my little sisters, they're like double D's, and here I am, B, C, walking around like, oh, and that was something that triggered me. That was just, a small trigger, but that was real to me.
Mhm.
No, that's real to me. I'm in college, and here my sister is in middle school, and her body looked more developed in certain areas than mine. And so I began to pick myself apart. I don't like this. I don't like that. And I can honestly say that because that's an area that I've always been complimented on. People always say, your waist is so small. You're so this, you're so that. And it doesn't matter what anybody says. What mattered is what's going on inside of me, and what's going on inside of my head, and the thoughts that I'm constantly playing back as, they're this and I'm not. There's something that I'm not. So there's something wrong with me. There's a deficit with me. I thought I had met the love of my life that I was with for 7 years. The relationship didn't work out. But then when I looked out at the world, and you meet people that, oh, they're not treating you anyway, like, the princess in you that your dad raised you to be deserves to be treated. There must be something wrong with me. Some things took place in my childhood that hurt deeply, that were sexual. And it made me question myself. Is there something wrong with me? And that was my inner talk.
Yeah.
And then as you meet people, you want to put on this mask,
Mm.
this air of
That part.
perfection.
Yeah.
And especially if you can communicate well.
Mm.
Oh, well, this, and oh, well, that. And and you put off this mask to where nobody can really get in and know you. But as you were talking about the inner talk, it really, one thing that really helped me was mirror work. Another thing that really helped me was meditation, or as the scripture says, be still and know.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't know who I was. I couldn't walk in the fullness of who I am. I couldn't even begin to tap into the woman that I will become if I didn't separate myself from all the noise and take time to be still. And in that stillness, I didn't hear the outside validation, but I gained the inside validation of, this is who you are. You are more than a conqueror. You can do all things.
Oh, yeah.
You are created in the image and the likeness.
Yes.
Your beauty, whether you see it on the outside or not, the true beauty of who you are radiates from within. And as I begin to tap into that, as I begin to look in the mirror at days where I didn't love myself and I didn't like myself, and I questioned, why am I even here? Why was I even born? Was I even I'm not even supposed to be here. This was a fluke, a mistake. I don't feel desired in this moment. In those moments, in those dark, lonely moments, that's when you have to tap in to scripture. You have to tap in to speaking life over your life. Because a lot of times we're waiting on someone to speak life over us. We're waiting for some special person to come to church and give us a word, or the man of God to give us a word, or we're waiting on us to walk down the street and somebody have something nice to say about us. But sometimes the best encouragement you're going to get is when you can dive deep and encourage yourself. Because you have to encourage yourself if you're going to walk the walk and talk the talk. Because there are going to be nights Life is full of tests. Life is full of ups and downs. A young man gave an analogy. He was like, I just want to be happy all the time. But for those who work in the medical field, know that if your heart is like this, you flatline.
Mm-hmm.
Life is full of ups and downs. The rains are going to come and the winds are going to blow. But when you tap in and you could stand on a firm foundation and look yourself in the mirror and say, I love you.
Mm.
On the days you don't feel great, on the days where your hair used to be all big and glorious, and now you're going through seasons and it's like, oh my goodness, my hair is not as fluffy as it used to be. But you could look in the mirror and say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I love myself. I love my hair. I love who I am. You will begin to attract that outside of yourself as well. Because as you think in your heart, that's really what you create. We have a power, we have ability, we have a gift. And sometimes we take it for granted and don't use it. Scripturally, it says, and God said, and there was, right?
Hey, listen.
But sometimes you have to speak and call those things which are not as though they were. And you have to be bold enough and say, whether you see it or not, you have to say, I'm full of energy. I'm alive. I'm alert. I'm happy. I'm full of joy. I am love. No one wants to, be alone. It's cuddle season and we know the snow is coming. But sometimes you got to say, I love myself. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do that workout. I'm going to do those 100 squats because I love myself and begin to sow love into you because you're going to reap what you sow. A lot of times we think that in offering, oh, if I sow this, then I'm going to reap this.
Yeah.
But no, if you sow love into yourself, you will reap love to yourself.
Yes. And China, you just said something because oftentimes we do wellness or we do these things for other people.
Yeah.
Right. Even the physical exercise, right? Oh, I'm getting in shape for someone else instead of saying to ourselves, no, I'm getting in shape for me. I'm
Mhm.
so that I can live a longer life. So as we kind of close out these thoughts, talk to me or what would be kind of your final tip, your thoughts to women around wellness, overcoming obstacles? What would you say to the women that are listening?
I want to say you are worthy and you are worth it.
Mm.
You are worthy and you are worth it. And you got to grasp that and you have to know that. And I don't know what is knocking at your life's door. I don't know what is knocking at your heart's door. But I do know that you are designed to overcome it. I do know that you have everything you need inside of you. And all you have to do is tap in, spend that quiet time with God, just you and the Lord. Sometimes we run to people because we want them to solve all of our problems. And it's nothing wrong with reaching out for help. Don't have too much pride to seek therapy or seek wisdom or seek guidance in areas because you don't have to reinvent the wheel and do it all by yourself. But you have to do some things for yourself that no one else can do but you.
Mm.
And so spend that time alone. Talk to yourself. I talk to myself out loud a lot. You know what I'm saying? I am my BFF. And I thank God for the women around me. I thank God for my sister. I thank God for my mother. I thank God for, Lydia Joy. I thank God for some of the women I've partnered with. Brandy Nichols. There's just some phenomenal women that I've partnered with and, growing with. I thank God for my cousin Chantel. I thank God for these people. But sometimes in the in the still of the night, they're not there, but I know who is.
That's right.
And so don't be afraid to lay there and talk. Don't be afraid to cry. There are many nights that I've cried, balled up, just crying. But I know that this too shall pass.
Mm.
My granny is 97 and she says that all the time. I'll be going through some things and granny will always say, this too shall pass. And sometimes you can't see the picture because you're in a frame. But one thing you do have is your imagination and see yourself on the other side of whatever obstacle that you're facing, because your imagination, your words, your thoughts, they are powerful tools that we have to utilize. Begin to read goodness, begin to watch goodness. Maybe you're watching shows that it's a lot of strife, a lot of bickering back and forth. Maybe it's been a lot of bickering back and forth in your home environment. Begin to clean, begin to pray, begin to wash the walls, begin to saturate yourself in praise and worship and thanksgiving and celebration. Have a dance party in the living room all by yourself if you have to. Turn on some good music. I don't know. Sometimes I like to turn on Bootsy Collins, but turn on some good music. You know what I'm saying? Turn on Brick House. If you ain't feeling good about your body, turn on Brick House and get to dancing because you are her and you can be her. And just tap in and know that you got everything inside of you, not just survive, but to thrive and to grow. And please Follow me. I'm Chinna Parker. Follow the Sisterly Collective and join yourself to people who want to see you rise.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
might have to step outside of your comfort zone,
Mm.
but connect yourself to those who see the good in you, who see
Yeah.
the God in you, who see the greatness in you, because they will speak life to you a lot of times when you need it. My girl, she sent me a video this morning of some podcast thing, and I needed that.
Mm.
Join yourself to people who see you.
Yeah.
They may not see not the brand of your bag or the brand of your shoes or the length of your hair extensions. Join yourself to people who see you.
Oof. Girl, that's the word. All right, China. So before you go, I have
Mhm.
all my guests do a joke, a Laffy Taffy joke of the show. Okay.
Mhm.
So Proverbs 17:22 says, a joyful heart is good medicine. So we want to make a good laugh here. Let's see if you can guess your Laffy Taffy joke. All right. All right. Here we go. Why did the cell phone get glasses?
Why did the cell phone get glasses? I don't even know. All I can think of is an iPhone. I mean,
Because she lost all her contacts.
ah,
All right,
that was
Julie.
good.
You already started giving, but give everybody your Instagram, your socials. How can they get in touch with you and Sister Collective? Give them all your info one more time.
I am Chinna Parker. That's 2NCHINNA. Last name Parker on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I spend most of my time on Instagram. I'm gonna dive into YouTube, I promise. I'm diving into YouTube. But yes, just follow me, connect with me, and build with me, build with us. Let's come together and build a community of unity and build the world we want to see.
I love it. Thank you, China. So, guys, before we go, I love my Dr. Stacy Love the Babies Well segment. And Psalms 133:1 says, behold, how good and pleasant it is when sisters dwell in unity. We have a belonging epidemic. More people today struggle with social connection and belonging. As we heard today, China talk about creating spaces where we can connect helps us to not just survive, but to actually thrive. Research shows that chronic social isolation dramatically increases the risk of premature death, comparable to things like smoking and obesity. We need each other to survive, literally. And so I encourage you today, especially your young women, teach them to connect, teach them to love, to reach across the table, to be okay with saying, hey, sister, I see you, I uplift you, I love you. We have a lot of work to do in this idea of unity, but with all of us older, seasoned women, we can help our younger women see the benefit and beauty when we all come together. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Dr. Stacy Show. Until next time, keep the faith, love babies well, and pursue wellness.
Amen.